Hello everyone and welcome to the latest episode of Pulp, Punditry and Porchy. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Pulp, Punditry and Porchy. A bit of a different episode today. Obviously we're back after a few months out, back for pre-season, but I thought to get a bit of a different flavour of what goes on at the club, I thought we'd chat to none other than Mark Gibson, Gibbo, our physio. So how you doing, Gibbo? You all right?
Not too bad, thank you very much.
Yeah. How's everything been? I mean, because we've had a few months out. You been all right?
Yeah. It's been quite steady really. Not as busy as what I thought we would be, but it's only just started pre-season, so give it a few weeks. I'll have a few more people on the bed.
I can imagine. Yeah, we're only a week in, so we'll hold our breath in terms of with that. So let's start then. You've physio in terms of like non-league. How did that come about? I mean, how did you start getting into the role of physio really?
Well, I started off doing some sports massage. So I've done my level 3 at South Downs College. When I started there, I worked for a company called Physio Management, and we deal with physios and national teams and stuff like that. But local team, Havant and Waterlooville, I knew the director there called AD Ames. Asked him if I could do some hours, just get a bit of hours in there. And I worked under a bloke called Phil Ashwell, or Skills as a lad's called. Everyone knows him as Skills down there. So I've done my first year there, done seasons that started in 2014-2015 season. Done a year there, got some good experience there. FA Cup first round, promotion, playoffs and stuff like that, so it was really good. And then the second year I've done my level 4 sports massage. Won a very good year really, and as the club, because we got relegated from the Conference South for the first time, but we won the Hampshire Cup, which don't really make much difference. But
I was actually there that day. It was at Weston-super-Mare or someone you got relegated against on the last
game.
It was,
last game of the season. Yeah, we lost.
Weston.
I think we lost 2-1. I think, or drew 1 or whatever it was. But they sent us down.
Yeah, amazing. You kept bounced back, didn't they?
They bounced back straight away. So we went through pre-season again with Havant. So that would have been the 2016-17 season. But Sus, Ian Saunders, he went from Petersfield to Winchester and was looking for a game day physio, or therapist as we're called. And he asked if I wanted to join over, so I did. Went over to Winchester, had 2 good seasons there. Well, that was a bit weird because Sus got booted after about 3 months, or 4 months I was there, and then joined in.
You can come in, mate, if you want. You're getting on the interview.
Yeah, so he went, and another manager come in. All the backroom staff left. I was the only one left with the backroom staff. So I've done another season at Winchester. By this time I was doing my degree in sports therapy. Done at Peter Simmons, that was based out of Chichester Uni. Done 2 seasons at Winchester, like I said, and then Sus wanted me to come back to Portchester. So I'll come into Portchester and help him out here. So it was dropping down a league, which was fine by me, and at the time I lived in Southsea. I was coming up to my 3rd year at uni, so of course it's that kind of dissertation area, so I needed more time, and travelling to Winchester 3 times a week was just taking its toll a little bit too much, and my grades were falling, so I made a decision to leave Winchester and come to Portchester, and I've been here since, so it's been my 4th season. So.
Brilliant. And how do you find, obviously you've been at a few clubs, have you found that valuable being at different places? Have you learned from
you learn a little bit from each person, whether it's the manager, the backroom staff, the coaching staff, goalkeeping coaches, kitmen like TC, it's different level at this one. It's mad really, because whereas at Winchester you didn't really have a kitman, it was the manager done it, the director of football done it, the committee done it, so they all kind of chipped in, so so it was a different level really. I mean, even though I dropped down a level, it was still up there. Yeah. So it was good. It was good that way.
And I guess with the fact that at Portchester we're very lucky, obviously we have got a lot of people in certain roles, and it does rely on people obviously getting involved and doing their bit. Have you found the role develop here since you've been here? I mean, obviously we've got a brilliant physio room here, and I know other clubs do have it at level, but obviously I think we've got really good facilities.
The facilities here are second to none really. I mean, we're at a Conference South level, really. The facilities we've got, I mean, we've got our own gym, sort of rehab for myself, for certain players. Like we spoke earlier about Joe Noakes.
Yeah.
It's great to get them in there when it's chucking down with rain. So you can't get out all the time, so it's easier to just get them in there, do the bikes and all that kind of stuff, and do a bit of resistance work with them in there. And the room is, it's great. I mean, doing things like water fridges, 2 beds. I mean, we're whacking in TVs all over the place, and yeah, it's different class. I mean, COVID took its toll a little bit. I think that was a thing that shook a lot of clubs. We've been quite lucky. We've got a little bit of a budget for the medical side, so we've always been well looked after, and we've been pretty good with everything. So
yeah, I think it's important, isn't it? Because clearly, no matter what the level you are, like people can have injuries exactly the same, and we've seen that here. So I think investing in it is really important, and I think people, especially someone like Noakes, know how important it is to be well looked after by the club.
Yeah,
and I think he really values that. And in terms of that actual aspect, what we were just saying, I mean, we're sat here now. It's obviously quite quiet, which is good. Obviously, everyone's out doing pre-season training out there.
Yeah, I'll be out in a minute.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. How quickly sometimes can it change in terms of you must have to sometimes really get your head into the game, because something like an injury can happen in an instant. Has that been the case, I guess?
Different clubs have had different injuries. So we had one with a big head injury with a well-known player. He was out cold for a couple of minutes.
Oh, really?
So he had oxygen on, spinal boards a lot. So that was a good experience, but not at the time, because obviously it's a big thing when you first do it. So it's my first big injury. I've had a couple of dislocated shoulders, obviously torn ACLs, broken fibula, tibia, random ones, numerous concussions we've had. So people totally out there. If you've not dealt with concussion, it can be quite a bit of a shocking thing, really, because disorientation with players. But yeah, the variety of injuries can be quite dealing with. You're quite daunting.
Yeah.
But that's what you train for. So, and it's good. I mean, you'd rather have a quiet day, to be honest. Sit there and do nothing all afternoon, but occasionally you got you called in. But then that's what you train for, and that's what you get paid for. So
exactly. Yeah. No, you're here for that. I mean, we just talked about, didn't we? Like Noakes, it was quite a high-profile injury we've had here, like, unfortunately. I mean, I guess that's kind of brought you into having to deal with that a few times. But I guess your relationship with the players must be important, especially with someone like you said, like Noakes, you're getting through those kind of sessions. I mean, without getting into too much detail, because obviously that's his injury and his food. Like, I guess that must have been a long process of recovery. Like, how do you go about? Do you have to plan that? How do you go about it?
Yeah. I mean, we always joke it's a Joe Noakes medical room. Yeah, that's the thing. Spend more time in here. Yeah. So when I come over, he had just done his ACL the first time. So I was rehabbing him the first time. We got him back, obviously, and then literally the second game in, he broke his fibula. And then got him back from that. Then the COVID hit, obviously, the first time, and then he done his ACL in the Portsmouth game, the same one. So yeah, it's a bit weird. He spent more time in here than probably me, I think, in the last 4 years. But no, you get to know all the players on a good basis, and that's a good thing. So they've got to learn to trust you. As soon as you lose that trust, that's a big thing. So, and it's a good thing here, because they know whatever gets said in here stays in here. Don't get told by anyone else. So, and that's a good thing. So you've got the confidentiality of them, and that's why you get to know a lot of them quite well, quite in depth, and quite personal, really. So
I can imagine. I mean, it's been brilliant to talk to you. One thing I actually wanted to ask, and I'm sure people will want to know, is because we don't always get to have conversations with people like yourself, especially with the players. What would you say to people maybe looking to go into the field of what you're in terms of sports, like you said, like massage, physiotherapy, along those lines? Because I teach a lot of students, obviously, who are into that. What would you say to them? And I guess the fact that you're at a club like Salzburg, some people might think, it's only be it Manchester United or Barcelona. What would you say in terms of people looking to get into the?
Always aim high. That's a good thing. Always aim high. But don't forget to try and start low, because I think if you start at this kind of level, it's a good standing, because the variety you get, and it's very difficult because people work. Yeah. So the players work. So the professional kind of game, because I've done a few bits. Obviously, I speak with the physios and stuff, and work with team doctors and people with Team GB and stuff like that with my other work, my professional work.
Yeah, of course.
and you get to know the differences massively. Where they're a professional game, they're obviously like they're in the morning, they're there 9-10 hours working with physio, having all the top of the range gear. Here you see them probably 15-20 minutes sometimes, and that's it. So you've got to constantly be on them at the phones, texting and messaging, make sure they're okay. Of course they've got full-time work, so they can't rest up sometimes and say, look, just ease up tomorrow. And they're like, well, I'm on a building site jumping up and down ladders all day. So it's very difficult, very challenging, but very rewarding. So anyone coming into it, they've got a load of differences between obviously the non-professional and the professional game, but always aim high. If you want to go to a place, always go there, but try and start low so you get to the kind of hustler.
Yeah, it's the grounding.
That's the grounding massively, and then you take that to the professional game. So.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thanks so much for talking to us.
No problem.
All the best with the season ahead.